Here at IPCPR 2013, I almost said 12. You know
13.
the name, you know the face.
Well,
you may not know the mustache, but
Mustachio.
he looks.
My booth calls me Mustache.
The mustache.
The mustache. That's what he's calling me.
I'm thinking you look like you might have just stepped off the set of it, like a Three Musketeers type of deal.
You know,
fencing or
especially
something
with
like
the hair and shit.
Yeah, it's a good look.
If I put it down, it does kind of look like that D'Artagnan thing.
Yeah. There you go. Or the Princess Bride or some shit like that. You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Inigo
Even
Montoya.
better. Yeah. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, so Pete Johnson, everybody, obviously. Yeah, and Brian Hewitt. So what's happening, man? What's going on? You've been busy as hell. Tell us a little bit about what's up.
Well, 10-year anniversary.
10 years.
So we built this fabulous monstrosity.
So how are you liking this? You had a hallway before, and it was always crowded, but now you've got this compound.
We got this box, and now it's more crowded.
Yeah, it was impossible to walk in like the first day. Do you like it?
Today's kind of mellow compared to yesterday, but it was so busy in here. But I did the math, and I'm like, shit, we actually have less space than we did before. Because before we had the two aisles, the two sides with an aisle in between us. So if we had 5 booths on each side, we had another 5 booths of aisle. So it's like 15 booths. Here, we only have 1 aisle between the two companies, so we got 12 and a half booths apiece.
Yeah, okay.
So,
it seemed like it was bigger, but I mean, judging by the amount of people in here, I couldn't tell.
Well, I can tell you, the structure is much better than we had before. It was my stupid little banners.
Yeah.
But this shit's really heavy, and it costs a lot to get in the door.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But yeah, I'm really happy. Alcides, Yanni's cousin, redesigned it. I just sat there and said, yes, I like it. He designed the layout. We all talked about what woods we wanted, and it's just what's great about it is I don't really have to set up anything but like put everything inside the glass and make it happy. So
that's gotta be a relief after the other.
Yeah. So the 10 years we decided to do 2 new sizes for the 10-year anniversary.
Way back when.
One's a 5 3/8 by 48. The other one's a 5 3/8 by 52. The 5 3/8 by 48 is a perfecto style.
Our room got here.
Those will be continued production. They'll hold that 10-year anniversary band even after the next year when the other bands change back to the regular band.
Yeah. Okay.
We got the 2013 Avion. We did as a reserva because there was a little confusion with the molds in the factory, and the sizes kept on coming. The head of the foot of the cigar kept on coming out, what we call the mouth of the cigar. Kept on coming out to a different point, so we needed to cut the point down. As soon as we cut the point down, it ended up looking too much like the 11. So to avoid retail confusion, I decided to put a reserva band on it and put broadleaf on it, so it's a totally different blend basically.
I
the
actually
material's the same, so.
Okay, yeah, and I'd heard a little bit of talk in the show that was it's positively received by the people.
And then the 10-year anniversary black label, which is the Corona Gorda back that I did in 2007. We decided to bring it back as part of our 10-year theme.
I think for a lot of people that was the ultimate black label. I believe that's.
And they're beautiful, man. I think they're smoking right up there with the original ones. It's always hard to produce something that you haven't made for 6 years, basically. But the jar is cool. It's just we don't have the final one done. We have a printed version over there instead of an engraved version, but it's made out of melamine.
What's that?
Melamine.
I don't even know what melamine is.
It's a hard plastic. It's the same stuff I use on my ashtrays.
Oh, all right.
It's a hard plastic, but you can mold it to have a certain look. And it's going to fit 19 cigars like we always have. Like the original carpet 19 cigars.
Yeah.
And hopefully.
What do you figure that's going to retail for? Because I know that's going to be a hot commodity.
The cigar's going to be $10. I think it was $13 or $14 when I originally. $13 when I first came out.
Oh, okay. So it's less.
It's less because I was, doing more production. And also the melamine jar costs way less than the ceramic jar. But it's still a cool jar. It's got a one-turn locking system.
Okay.
So it's better for weight for shipping. And plus, I'm making 10,000 of them.
Okay.
So I'll have them for a while, and it brings the price down on every level.
Yes. That definitely
Plus,
makes sense.
the more and more we make, the more I'm trying to bring cigars on the market that are at very accessible price points.
I know we all appreciate that. I mean, we're all looking for a way to make the buck go as far as
Well, I appreciate Jaime when he gives me better prices when I make more volume. So.
Yeah. And I notice you've got, as every year, you've got the Monster Series proudly displayed.
Yeah, I have the.
You've got the Jason, I believe, is it the Jason? Or no,
There's no name.
No name yet.
It's obviously modeled after Jason or Voorhees, or Jason Voorhees, or I think we might just put it in Citizen Monster number 6 JB.
Oh, there you go.
You know, that way.
Because I wasn't sure on the name either. I was
because there's no name written on it. I figured it was self-explanatory with the the box with the hockey mask on it. It's kind of like yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And I love what DuPont did for the lighter this year.
Yeah, I saw that right around.
What's great, the more they've gotten into the whole rhythm of that, also that even the price point on those are better than they were at the beginning. Now the retail on the lighter is $1 or $2.50, and it comes with a nice pouch and everything. So
nice.
It's a cool lighter, and just the front and back imagery is really cool. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing more and more pictures of you. We've got one in the background here that I don't know if anybody can see you sitting in front of some wine barrels. I know you're into wine and you're producing your own wine. I think people are curious about how that's going. You can tell us a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about wine, but I'm really curious how that's going.
It's going good, man. You know what it is? It's kind of like what we would call a vanity brand. You know, I'm kind of cheating on it in a sense where I have, I go over, once a year in April to basically taste raw juice and blend based on my palate what I want and go into barrel for a year, and then I go back and I finalize it to make sure that was the correct blend. So I don't go over there I'm not there to pick the grapes. I'm not there to vinify it. I'm not there to do anything.
Well, in the same sense, it's like it's a
very
cigar
similar to what
industry.
I do.
You blend, but somebody else is rolling it. Somebody else is aging it.
Yeah, I go to Nicaragua every month.
Yeah.
I can't afford to go to Paris or Bordeaux every month.
Yeah, no.
But I go to Nicaragua every month. I blend. I design the packaging, the whole thing, and I have Jaime and Pepin roll. Actually, they have their employees roll.
Yes.
So yeah, it's very similar to what I do with the Garcias, and it's a cool group that's over there. They're owned by a very big chateau called Lynch Bage. The name of the company is called Vinny, and they produce good raw juice that I'm able to blend. It's kind of like buying good raw material that you're able to blend and then put into a spectacular cigar. In this case, a bottle.
Yeah. So what's the future for that? Is that something that you're? I mean,
at
some point probably sell maybe, or
eventually,
like something mixing the cigars and wine together.
Eventually,
I
think what I'll probably end up doing is focusing on getting all my licenses in check when it comes to distributing wine.
It's probably a good idea.
It's a different animal compared to cigars. It's a lot more complicated. But what I want to do is actually focus on maybe working with local stores at first. Local stores in Los Angeles that sell wine and sell cigars, and doing tastings with them. Because in that case, it's easier for me to sell it to them because they're technically buying my personal collection, and they can sell it to the consumer, so the consumer can get access to it. But there's so many new cigar bars coming out, and cigar stores that sell wine, that I think that's probably going to be like the first core clientele that I get is the people that actually sell my cigars that happen to sell, that serve wine in their bar or sell wine in their store. They're going to probably the ones that want it first also.
Yeah.
And that way, right now it's small, real small.
Are you thinking about coming up with blending the wine to pair specifically with certain lines of cigars? Is that something you've given thought to? Or
No. I'm just looking for a great wine.
Okay.
I mean, when I blend it, I don't even think about cigars. I think about understanding what I get notes off the tobacco from.
Yes.
So and then understanding how certain varietals of tobacco are, and I kind of relate that to the wine. Like I look at wine varietals in similar standards as seed varietals for some tobacco.
I can imagine that works pretty well. I mean, I know that some wines are described, have read notes on it with tobacco flavors in them, you know. So I mean, it makes sense that you could think of you could think of cigars from a wine perspective, or you think of wine from a cigar perspective.
Yeah, I
It makes sense.
just look at that way. I don't go in there going, well, this one would drink really well with my La Verite.
Yeah.
I think if you make a good wine, it can be drank with anything.
Yeah, and people can figure out what they like best like to pair it with. So yeah, that's a valid point. It's a valid point. Yeah, that's really interesting. Is that the only external outside cigar venture that you're into right now? Or?
No, I started a clothing brand.
Yeah. I
about
heard
a
you
month and a half ago.
talking about you were wearing something you said last night.
I was wearing a shirt and a pair of jeans that we made. Actually, those are my prototypes.
Okay.
We're still in the sampling stage. We're still in the patterns. We're still working on the patterns to make sure that all the parts go together the way we want to. You know, the one I was wearing last night, the collar's a little long, the pockets, the pocket flaps are a little bit big, so I need to adjust those things. I started it with a buddy of mine. He used to work for a jean company, and I just have a vision of what I like for clothing, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So what I did is I had him come in as like my chief of production for that. Like he's controlling all the, making sure that all the production is done the correct way, and
So much better than Twisted.
we literally go and search for fabrics and materials, and pick certain things out that I want to wear first. Again, I do everything.
You blend it for yourself. Everything you make.
Everything I
yourself,
make, I make for myself. People think that's a weird way, but I have to be able to love everything. And I was talking to my buddy Seth, who was part of this whole clothing thing with me. He's like, well, maybe it's just your body style. Maybe you want to have more space in the thing. I said, well, dude, I don't like it with more space in the thing. So if I don't like it, I'm not gonna feel it when I'm selling it. You know?
Exactly. I don't know how anybody could sell a product that they don't actually themselves like.
Yeah.
It'd be really tough. Every time you'd be lying. When
You're
when you
lying.
sell it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it's like, hey, do you like it? No, but I sell it. No, I can't do that.
Yeah. So man, I don't even know how anybody
branch-
has enough time to do all that stuff.
Luckily, I got people around me.
That's true.
It's just me looking for something new that I'm passionate about, and now I got more people in the office too. With Seth being in the office when we're not working on the clothing stuff, he's actually helping out the guys from Atelier or even the guys from Takawahe.
So
shipping products.
you still spend a lot of time on the road with all the stuff you've got going on? Or?
Yeah, that's the problem. I started the clothing stuff 8 weeks ago, I think. 8 weeks ago, and we barely had enough time to get some stuff sewn up for us so I could wear at the show. And even those ones were flawed. Like the pattern was a little funky. Yeah, it's as soon as I think it was the week I started, it was like right around the holiday time, and I had disappeared in Nicaragua to work on the tobacco, and Seth had his parents coming in, so it was like the totally wrong time for us to start it. But I've been spending the last 2 weeks at home getting ready for the show, so I was able to get a little bit done. But we're working on it. I figured the whole theme behind it. The name's called Hassel, which is my middle name. Yeah, Hassell.
Okay.
Or Hassel, but everybody says Hassel. And the theme of the whole brand is the woods meets the city. So we call it Los Angeles Lumberjack.
Well,
So
being from Portland, Oregon, I'm familiar with the city and the lumberjack of the city.
And I'm from Maine, and I moved to Los Angeles when I was 18. But I love that. I love flannels. I love all that shit. I love jeans. So we're starting with that. Real men clothing. Shit that I would want to go buy, but I can't find in department stores. So.
So next year we're gonna come to we're gonna see a clothing rack, and we're gonna see a wine stand, and then we're gonna see cigars.
Yeah, I don't know how many cigar stores sell clothes though.
Yeah. Hey, I've seen some clothing on the showroom floor.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
This will be a direct-to-consumer thing because we make everything. Since we're making everything in Los Angeles, and we're doing a lot to the materials before they go into the pattern. Like literally, we're washing every piece of material before all the individual panels that we have to cut for the yardage. We're washing them before they get sewn up. That way they're pre-shrunk.
Yeah.
That way
that makes sense.
they're ready to wear. And people don't have to worry, I washed it and it shrunk up 2 feet, you know. That's the problem. That's the problem with
Jerry likes that. He gets his half shirts that way.
well, that's the problem with certain materials is that I've learned a lot about this recently, that if you could wash it once and it could shrink up one whole size. So what they do is they adjust the pattern to be bigger when you buy it on the shelf, but it's not true because as soon as you buy it, it's supposed to shrink up the size you want. So it doesn't make sense. So I know that's what they've been doing it for years, but I'm like, why would we just wash the material first?
Exactly.
Shrink it first, and then make the shirt. That way, it's true size every time people buy one off the rack. It's a lot of extra work, but
yeah, it sounds like it. But you know, it's
yeah, you should have seen
quality
me
product.
Last week. We were laying out like 150 panels of fabric in my office to lay it flat because it just got washed at the wash house. So we had to lay it out flat and make sure that it was not wrinkled because the sewers need to have it really clean and flat and straight so they can actually make the pattern really clean. But yeah, it's all made in Los Angeles too. So that makes the price go up.
Yeah, of course.
It's a pet project right now. It'll become a business one day, but it was a way to do something I've been wanting to do and give Seth a job.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff, man. Yeah.
We're having fun though.
So we covered all the bases basically. We got clothing, we got wine, we got cigars.
Well, hey, wait till next year when I get in the e-cigarette business.
Oh.
No, I'm being serious.
Seriously?
It won't be in this booth. It'll be another booth.
Really? Well, that's interesting. Okay, I got to know more about that. What got you thinking about getting into?
Well, I'm just a creature of habit when it comes to like seeing certain things come about. I'm like, there's a lot of shit going on with this trend.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was mentioning it to a very big company that I was doing it, and they're like, "You're crazy, you're crazy." And then the next day, Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds said that they were getting in the same game. So that next day, when I heard that press release, I was like, I need to get moving on it because I don't want to be coming in late on this one.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like if the cigar industry started in 1950 and someone showed up in 1975.
Yeah.
I don't want to be late on it. I don't care about the cigarette industry. I mean, it's not what I do. This is my industry. But the e-cigarette industry, e-cigarettes, is so massive that it's a way that I can actually help support the industry that I love. You know what I mean?
See. Yeah.
I mean, and I've been taste testing these things. They're actually kind of surprisingly not bad. Some of them
there are some that are good. The few I've had were I just couldn't do it.
Some of them are actually pretty decent. But we have this whole theme that we're doing with them, and it's gonna be a cool hit brand for e-cigarettes, and
so
if I can bite off of that business a little bit to support what our industry does here.
Yeah.
Give more money to CRA, give more, money to lobbyists to take care of it. It'll help us out. So
that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I assume that they won't carry the Tatawahe name, or
they'll carry a name very similar.
like
it's a name I own, so.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right.
But
so if we did like a trademark search, we'd find it.
Well, kinda. It's tattoo e-cigarettes.
Tattoo?
No, okay. Tattoo. Just simple tattoo.
Oh.
Tattoo. I don't know what we're gonna call them.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna call them vaporizers or even e-cigarettes or whatever we're going to call them, but they're going to be called the brand name is tattoo. Just simple, instead of tatuai, it's just straight tattoo. And the design patterns on every one of them, they're all disposables. We're not doing the refillables and the cartridges. These are going to look like cigarettes, and they're disposable. You know, packs of 3, singles, cartons, the whole thing.
Huh. That's
With some cool art on them and some cool individual flavors, you know.
Makes
Some
me-
that don't have nicotine, some that do, because there's some that are just flavors.
Oh, okay.
They
That's
don't have
interesting.
nicotine. So, you know, the more you can say away, or, you know, certain things like the nicotine thing.
That opens it up and reduces some whatever legal.
A lot of questions.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
it's something we're aggressively working on.
Huh.
I was trying to see if we could get something to show here at this year's show, but it was
Wow, it's that far
impossible.
along. Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, for sure next year we're gonna have something. I don't know, somewhere in this room.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe we'll set up a booth with a bunch of hot models.
That's exactly what you need to do.
Just like the Fantasia booth, right?
Hot models with tattoos, or even temporary tattoos. Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Man,
but
it kind of makes me wish I smoked cigarettes. You know,
There's
'cause-
a huge other amount of trade shows that we would go to
Oh,
with this
of course.
product
Yeah,
that are geared for the cigarette markets too.
that makes sense.
But
Yeah.
it's, you know, I could totally fail at it, but it won't cost me a lot to fail at it. So, which is great because you know, I mean, the clothing thing, it's costing me like $65 to sew every pattern just to get a sample. So every time I want to change the pattern, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I got to go do a new one, and that's another $65. So it's expensive to get into that business. E-cigarettes, you know, it's a worthwhile investment to
Okay.
try it, and if it doesn't work,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will take them off my hands.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. No doubt. No doubt.
So yeah, it's I don't know, just trying to do other stuff and also be able to create something that will help what I
What we're
love
doing here. Yeah. That's,
Because if I can earn more money to give more money to CRA and organizations like that to make sure the FDA and all these other people don't go after us, I'm trying to figure it out.
sounds,
I
hey,
give
sounds
my
like a
fair
winner.
share to CRA, but I wish I could do more sometimes.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too
No,
much
no
more of your
problem.
time. I've seen retailers come by looking for you, so thanks for taking a few minutes
welcome,
to talk to
bro.
us.
You're
It's crazy the stuff that you're doing, man. You're just mind
Yeah, I wake up in the middle of the night
cold sweats or
and start dreaming up things. I even did the other night. I woke up in the middle of the night and said, "Oh, I need to change the way the furniture sits." I swear to God,
wow.
I got problems.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.